Imagine a civilization so powerful, so advanced, that people looked at their towering structures and thought no force on earth could ever bring them down. They were tall, they were strong, they were feared across the land. And yet, they are gone. Not a single trace. Just sand, just silence, just a warning buried in the pages of the Quran for every single one of us. This is the story of the people of Ad, and it should make every one of us stop and think. The people of Ad lived in a land called Al-Ahqaf, a fertile, wind-blessed region in ancient Arabia. They were giants in the truest sense, physically enormous, incredibly strong. They built massive pillars and monuments that no other civilization of their time could match. The Quran describes them as a people unmatched in power across the whole earth. They had wealth, they had dominance, they had everything. And that was exactly their problem. Power made them arrogant, blessings made them blind. They forgot who gave them all of it. They turned away. They oppressed the weak. They mocked the very idea that anyone could hold them accountable. They would say, out loud with pride, "Who is more powerful than us?" And then God sent them a man from among themselves. His name was Hud, peace be upon him, a man of their own blood, their own tribe. He stood before them with nothing but truth and said, "Worship God alone. Stop the oppression. Return before it is too late." They laughed. They called him a liar. Some said he had lost his mind. And Hud, peace be upon him, stood there, steady, calm, unshaken. He told them, "I am not confused. I am a messenger, and I fear for you a punishment that nothing will be able to stop." They challenged him. They said, "Bring it then. Let us see this punishment of yours." They should not have said that. A drought came first. The skies closed. The crops dried. The wells ran low. And still they refused. Then one day they saw clouds. Big, dark, massive clouds rolling toward them on the horizon. And they were happy. They thought, finally, the rain is coming. Finally, relief is here. But Hud, peace be upon him, looked at those clouds and said, "This is not mercy. This is exactly what you asked for." What came was not rain. It was wind. A wind so fierce, so relentless, so roaring that it tore through everything in its path. For 7 nights and 8 days it did not stop. Not for a single moment. Bodies thrown like hollow tree trunks. Structures turned to rubble. The civilization that believed nothing could defeat them was erased from the face of the earth. Completely. As if they had never existed. And Hud, peace be upon him, and the small group of believers who stood with him, God protected every single one of them. Not one was harmed. There is a reason God tells us this story more than once in the Quran. It is not just ancient history. It is a mirror held up to any nation, any people, any heart that starts believing their power, their wealth, their status makes them untouchable. It never has. It never will. The people of Ad had everything this world could offer, and they lost everything. Not because God is harsh, but because they walked away from Him first. And when a people walk away, God simply lets them go. All the way. We live in a world full of noise, full of distraction, full of people chasing power and forgetting purpose. But stories like this one, they cut through all of it. They land somewhere deep. They remind us where we actually stand. And they remind us that real strength, the only kind that lasts, comes from one place alone. If this reached your heart today, share it. Someone in your life needs to hear this. Subscribe so these reminders keep coming. Because in times like these, we all need them. More than we know.